What's up? I'm Beth Ann.
Hi, I'm Ayla.
And this is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast. How's it going?
Okay, well, first of all, you stole my intro, and I really thought I was going to mess up that intro. I usually say what's up, and you say hi. So when that came out of your mouth, I was like, "Oh God, what do I say? Is there another word to say hello to people? I don't even know."
How do you say hello?
So that's how my day's going. What about you?
You know, just got back from seeing friends that I haven't seen in a long time, so it was really fun. And
Cool story. Can you tell it again?
Yes. I told all of my friends that they need to watch BLs.
Oh my God, our listenership is going to go up from 1 to 2.
Our previous episode of how to get your friends into BL, I was living it in real time. I was like, guys, let me tell you. And for people who like have no reference to like K-pop and stuff like that, because usually like when you intro it, a lot of the times like people that I'm introing it are people who like I know like foreign media. And so, but these are people that have like really no reference to foreign media. And so I'm like, let me tell you about ITZY.
Yeah, that's the gateway. Speaking of foreign media, today's episode is a good one. We have been talking about how we like K-pop literally since we started this podcast. Part of it is because that's actually how you and I met all those years ago. And part of it is because it's just a fun crossover. And if you're into K-pop, it's kind of one of those things that you like can't stop talking about. So since we have a platform to talk about it, we're going to talk about K-pop. I obviously style myself with my boys behind me, never miss an opportunity to promote Pentagon. But we're going to talk about K-pop through the lens of BLs. We're talking K-pop BL crossover because if you ever liked K-pop and liked BLs at the same time and then saw just like a random interaction of like a K-pop boy with a BL boy, your heart starts beating real fast. You feel like you've like had one too many Red Bulls. It's a whole thing. And so we're just going to talk about all those moments and hopefully your hearts will be okay.
Especially because the Thai love the Koreans. And so,
I feel like we can kick this into full gear by just jumping into it and talking about BlackPink's role in BLs.
Yes. Those boys love some BlackPink.
It makes sense because, of course, Lisa, right? It makes so much sense.
Yep.
That being said, the funniest sort of like K-pop BL crossover to me is the fact that a BlackPink concert is literally a plot point in Theory of Love.
Yeah.
Like usually with these sort of crossovers when it comes into the BL series, so not necessarily idols interacting with Thai idols, with Thai actors. But if we're talking about crossover in the series itself, usually the way it manifests is there will be like little reference peppered here or there. Like somebody will be listening to K-pop, somebody will be dancing to K-pop, right? Like it'll be just sort of like a little pepper, a little spice.
Yeah.
Not in Theory of Love. In Theory of Love, they full on make this BlackPink concert a plot point to the point where Kai, who's played by Off, has somehow manipulated Gun's character into helping him to get these like BlackPink tickets under the guise of like, he's like, I just want to see Jennie. Like, I just need to meet Jennie. Or is it Lisa? I think it's Jennie.
Yeah.
And
they never liked the Thai ones. Really. Like that's never the focus of like, I feel like some of these.
And so it actually turns into this like emotional thing where it turns out he's getting the tickets for a girl and it like turns into a whole thing. Drama. And then I'm pretty sure this is the lead up to Gun crying in the shower, but the shower doesn't work, so he gets a water bottle, which is one of the best scenes in any BL of all time. So yeah, BlackPink in BLs literally everywhere. like the most intensely, I would say, in Theory of Love. It does get brought, like Blackpink gets brought up in like a lot of other BLs. Like you just kind of have to wait for it and it'll happen. I'll be like, ooh, fun. There's a really cute scene of Off being like, I finally get to see Jennie, and is like fanboying out. It's super cute. Can you tell I like Off Jumpole is the question.
I mean, why not? He is so precious.
So let's run through some other just sort of like K-pop in BLs before we move on to the meat of this discussion, the fun stuff, which is the actual interactions. One just like fun little side one is there is a moment in Together With Me, which is OG Max Toll, where Toll walks in and one of the side friends is like, and she's supposed to be she's a tomboy in the show. Right. She's like dancing to K-pop. She's like doing a group dance. It's very cute. And it's just like a fun little, because they don't explain that it's K-pop and you can't even really hear the song. But for fans, you know. And so that's cute. And then you love this next one. So I'm going to let you talk about the K-pop and Tharn type because it's too much.
This is like truly my favorite. When I was showing you Tharn type, I was like, girl, you're going to love this, because you had like just gotten into BLs. And so I was like, again, that like K-pop BL connection is just so fun. And so in the first season, it's more like just Korean in general, and he
like speaks Korean to him sometimes, which I think is really funny, because at one point he's like, stop speaking Korean to me.
Yeah, he's like, you're Thai, what are you doing? Because one of my favorite moments in the first season is when he's watching dramas. And he's like speaking in Korean, and he's like, "Oppa, no!" And then he confesses to his roommate in Korean. He's like, "Juahe," and then he's like, "Well, I don't understand." I think that's when he's like, "Stop speaking Korean to me. I don't." Understand.
He uses like a classic like K-drama phrase, which is like, "Joy."
In season 2, he's like actually gone to Korea to be a trainee, and then he like comes back all like just like dramatic and disheveled, and
he hasn't made it, you guys. He got kicked out of JYP, and for whatever reason Cube didn't snatch him up. Burn on Cube.
Nice. And so I loved that little nod to Korean fanboys in Tharn type.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So let's talk about the meat of the situation, which is the idol on idol interactions.
Yes.
This is something that, like, interestingly enough, you tried to use to like get me into BLs. Mm-hmm. Like, you were sending me, before I was into BLs, you would send me like all of these clips so I am GOT7 is my jam.
Yeah, they love GOT7 in Thailand. Although not, I mean, like, yes, they love BamBam, but like I feel like Mark and Jackson get most of the love.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's more so of like just people's preferences, like people's bias preferences. I don't know. I don't think it's that deep.
Yeah, I think I sent you a lot of Petcha stuff.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I had not seen any of the Petch stuff until very recently. What you sent me
when he reviewed Eclipse, because
what you kept trying to push on me was actually Bilkin and Pee at the UNICEF thing with BamBam. That's what you kept pushing on me. Like, you sent it to me like probably 5 or 6 times, like wanting me to it is a very cute clip. To be fair, it's super cute. In the clip, I think it's Pee that like pats Bilkin's sweat. It's Bilkin. Yeah. So Bilkin like pats Pee sweat or something like that, and BamBam sees it, and he kind of has this, like, in classic BamBam fashion, this like BamBam moment where he's like, he like makes a face, but it's a very cute face, like,
and then he realizes he's on camera and he's like, you didn't see that.
Yeah. And to be fair, super cute clip. I truly could not have cared any less any of the 5 times you sent it to me before I watched Itzy. It resurfaced on my TikTok the other day, and I was like, like my heart started beating real fast. I have such a soft spot for BamBam. BamBam is actually the reason I like got7. I remember so vividly when I got into got7. I had like gone out to dinner with my sister.
Another thing that I got into first and was like, Ayla, please join me. And like when you finally got into got7, I like was it was disbelief. Kind of like how when you got into BLs, I was like, is this real?
But it was because of BamBam. So I have such a soft spot for BamBam. My bias is actually Mark, but BamBam holds a very special place in my heart. And I remember so vividly when I first got into got7, I had like gone out to dinner with my sister and I was like, so I like this new K-pop group. And at this point, like everyone I knew was like, oh my God, Ayla with the K-pop cheese. Yeah. And because obviously, in case you couldn't tell, like I like K-pop. And I so vividly remember saying to her, there's this new K-pop boy. His name is BamBam.
Yeah.
And I was like explaining to her like who BamBam was and why I liked him and like got7 and like all of the stuff. And so that's why now that this has like resurfaced on my timeline, I love it so much. BamBam just sort of like, he doesn't even interact with them, but understanding in my brain that BamBam has the same reaction to Bilkin and PP interacting with each other as I do is super fun to me. Also, I think it's hilarious. When I was writing, I wrote notes for this episode, and I literally, the way I wrote it out to talk about this, I wrote BB with PPBK. And I was like, if somebody found this, they would think that this was like a code that I was like in the Illuminati or something. They would be like, what is this Thai code she speaks?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and because BamBam is doing solo stuff too, I feel like he's almost the ambassador for K-pop a little bit in Thailand. Because you do have Nick Hyun, who's Thai from 2PM,
who, by the way, told the most hilarious story over on Dive Studios podcast the other day.
Yeah,
shout out Dive Studios. I don't know if it's weird to shout out another podcaster on a podcast, but like, bless,
love them. They're doing it.
Yeah. So he told a very funny story about how he got recruited in Thailand.
Yeah.
And we like to make some pretty funny jokes about that story. So highly recommend going and listening to that episode. But yeah, I think you're right about it being BamBam is like, he's the link.
Yeah. And he recently did this K-pop show, I think for like Mnet or Music Bank or something, and he hosted and he interviewed Mew, and man, people were losing it because it was just so cute to see BamBam interviewing Mew, because so many of these Thai actors really do idolize these K-pop groups for good reason. Like, they're top tier talent.
And especially, I mean, what's interesting to note about got7 and BLs specifically is that if you watch some of the older, like specifically GMMTV BLs, got7 are the ads on top of these BLs, right? Like they're I was recently watching Waterboy, and got7 is like, I can't tell if they're actually promoting a drink or a car or maybe Porque no los dos. I don't know. But got7 is the commercial on top. So, right, like they have been so famous over there for so long. And if you're not gonna say, got7 shows in Thailand are like legendary. Like if you have ever seen any footage of got7 in Thailand, it's like next level.
They did that 7-part concert in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It is next level.
I was also speaking of PP and BB, I was watching, I think it was PP did like a vlog and of him going around Thailand to look at his ads for his birthday, and in the background you see like BamBam ads because he like currently has like 8 product promotions happening in Thailand.
Oh my God, BamBam, you're so famous.
Oh my gosh.
No, so it's super fun. I think BamBam is also a really fun interaction because God bless virtual fan signs. As a K-pop fan who had the immense luck and opportunity to actually get to do a virtual fan sign with my K-pop boys, I understand your time is precious, right?
Yeah.
Like the way that they run these virtual fan signs, it's not like when you go and do like a high touch or a meet and greet with a K-pop idol in real life, you can kind of like almost force extra time for yourself.
Right.
You don't get that in these virtual fan signs. So God bless these virtual fan signs and God bless the fans that really just like they're out there doing the Lord's work.
They love their BL boy and they love their K-pop star.
One of my favorite ones that came out of this is the BamBam and Big Earth like interaction.
I watched
And
that
it wasn't
video
even
so
really an
many times.
interaction, but essentially what's happened is a fan was in a virtual fan sign for BamBam while he was promoting Ribbon, and the fan talks about Earth and is like, oh, you know, like explains and says like, can you say something? And he does, and he's like, he's like, I'm gonna make time to watch your series. And
Can you
Sweet Earth,
imagine Bam Bam sitting down to watch Tale of a
Thousand Stars.
Like what? Like I of course, like I think of all BLs, that would be probably interesting for him because it's not set in Bangkok, and so like you got that rural feel, but you also got that like city boy vibe. Yeah, I'd be interested. I also wonder how aware like Bam Bam and Thai idols are of like the T-pop scene, because Mix was in that T-pop group with First and just like a bunch of other boys. So yeah, I wonder what
I mean, Bam Bam does
is.
talk about that,
Because his
like,
brother's a choreographer for a lot of those Thai artists.
right. But Bam Bam also has talked about how he just doesn't have time to go back to Thailand as much as he would like. So he's not like as connected. And then also, he doesn't actually know his siblings' names. So like, let's
They're Thai
not.
names.
I don't want to like put
difficult.
too much on Bam Bam here. Is what I'm saying.
So good. The other fan sign moment that I really loved was somebody showed Jamin from NCT Dream the Safe Zone video, and he's like mimicking the dance, and it is so sweet and cute. And like, I mean, just watching these clips, like shout out to the people who take the effort and energy, because I was there for when Ayla was preparing for her Pentagon fan sign, and she was like fully going through it to figure out.
You have a very limited amount of time.
Right.
And like I said, it's not in real life when you're doing these things in person, like I said, you can force extra time for yourself almost.
Yeah.
Right. And because you're going down the line. So if somebody ahead of you is right, like you just have these moments. But on the virtual fan signs, it's not like that. They just like phone moves, call ends, right? What it's like, it is very specifically timed. And so not only do you have to practice to make sure that like you practice before you meet an idol anyways, like at least in your brain, but for this you have to full on like set yourself a timer to make sure, and like you have to try in your brain to work out like, are they going to reply to me and how much time do I leave for, you know what I mean? So like these fans that are utilizing that time to do the Lord's work and talk about their BL boys,
I love
mad props.
I also love, like, it's such a funny point of connection to, like, it kind of encompasses everything, right? So like the other GOT7 BL actor moment is how much Boun loves Mark from GOT7, and
I feel you, Boun.
He has all of Mark's merch. Like I think fans even buy it for him. And for his birthday live recently, he like was wearing Mark's t-shirt or Mark's shirt. And then like on his Twitter, some fan had tweeted at Mark saying like, he cried when he couldn't get your concert tickets, and Mark responds, "Tell him not to cry." And he has that tweet literally like all over his social media.
It's like pinned to his profile. It's super cute.
So cute. And it's one of those moments where you're like, I get that. Like,
I feel you. I feel you, Boun. BL boys,
like
they're just like us.
Totally.
So interesting. I'm like a few minutes behind in this conversation in my brain. You mentioned that 1,000 Stars would be like an interesting watch for BamBam.
Yeah.
Because you said that,
Yeah.
I actually really want to know if you were in a room with BamBam. I know, so many thoughts, so many feelings.
Oh my gosh, if I was in a room with BamBam, I'd be on the floor. I would be passed out.
If you were in a room with BamBam,
oh my God,
I feel like I of course you cannot say this, but I feel like I wouldn't freak out over hanging out with BamBam. Obviously, I don't know. It hasn't happened to me, but like me and BamBam could be like, we'd be friends. We could be bros.
He did seem really sweet when he did that. He did a video recently with some fans that were watching his video, and he like snuck up on him, and he was really cute. One of them, I'm pretty sure, like said he smelled really good, and he was like, "I'll spray some cologne on you." It was weird. It was a weird moment.
So if you were in a room with BamBam, right? And he's like, yes, I'll sit down and watch TV with you, right? Like you have BamBam in a room for enough time to binge a series. What series are you putting on? You only get one chance. It's not like you guys are friends after this. It's literally just for the purposes of BLs. What series?
Oh my gosh, the pressure.
Because you have to think about BamBam's personality. We talked about this on the episode about getting your friends into BL. It's like, know your audience. It's like, read the room. So thinking about like who BamBam is, what would you show him?
What? Funny enough, actually, I don't think I'd show him a Thai or a Korean BL. I would go with History 3 Trapped, because who doesn't love a gang daddy?
Interesting.
And also because like he is Thai and he's like a K-pop idol, so like he probably has like seen that media. And for like BL, I'd want to be like, here's a whole new world. Let me take you to Taiwan. And it's got action. It has romance. Here's the thing. Just like with you, I had to really think, because it wasn't going to work for me to show you just like cute boys, because, you know, there had to be substance. There had to be grit. Like there had to be a good plot.
But do we think BamBam is like a grit TV kind of boy?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never like done a deep dive into BamBam's preferences, so I don't know like what's his favorite movie. If you know,
I feel like for BamBam, if I was going to show him a series, I would show him one of the ones that's like low key funny.
I was thinking like maybe Fish Upon the Sky.
Fish Upon the Sky could be fun, but I think that it's almost like, I feel like for Fish Upon the Sky, you have to have the tropes down. So I think that might be tough to realize like why it's funny. Like, this might be controversial. This might be a hot take. Please don't come for me if you really like this show. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I had a really fun time watching it. Low-key, I think I would show him He's Coming to Me.
Interesting.
Because it's like so weird. Yeah. It's so weird, dude. I love Singto. I love him so very much.
And there's so many down moments that you could just chat with BamBam, because you don't really need to watch the show, because they love to do a flashback. Like, you watched it.
We counted the night that we watched that show. I'm pretty sure you rewatched the whole show 6 times within the show because of the flashback.
They like have a stare into each other's eyes moment, and they like flash back to the first time they like met in, you know, when
listen, it's a fun watch. I like it, but it's absolutely ridiculous. So I would either go like that route, which is like it's low-key funny, but it also like it shows you the BL world, and yeah. So I feel like maybe He's Coming to Me.
Also, BamBam left Thailand so young. I wonder if he would like be into watching a show that like shows like school and stuff, because I'm sure he's heard so many things about it. I think he might be interested to see it like what high school and college was like in Thailand, because he didn't actually get to experience it.
So your vote is History 3 Trapped. My vote is He's Coming to Me.
Yes.
If you're listening to this, please comment and tell us what if you were in a room with BamBam, and you weren't panicking. And you had enough time to show him a series. One series. You get one shot. It's your one shot. It's your one opportunity.
Oh my gosh. We're definitely dating ourselves here.
What do you show him? Comment, tell us. I'm super interested. We're going to move on from BamBam, though. There's enough BamBam talk for one day in this household.
Never enough BamBam talk. Go stream Ribbon.
Agree. Let's talk about...
speaking of BL moments, hold on. We got to talk about that cute little relay dance that he does.
Not a BL moment, to be fair, but it is a moment where, like, if you watch BLs, you're totally going to know what we're talking about. Right. Literally, as soon as I saw it, I sent it to you, and I was like, what BL is this?
Yeah. I think it's boys love. He can love his dancers. It's too
BamBam is doing a relay dance on Mnet, and his backup, when they're solo and they're not in a group, they do the relay with their dancers. Yeah. And his dancers get out of order, and I'm not sure how it happens. I've rewatched it to try and figure out like where the moment is that they got themselves out of order. Yeah. But there's a very cute moment in the choreography where BamBam has like a little like solo dance with one of his like lady dancers, who is our favorite lady dancer because she's a universe. She's one of us.
And she danced with Baekhyun in all of his stuff.
So he's supposed to be doing this little like one-off dance with her, and they get out of order, and instead it is the world's most precious backup boy dancer. Okay. And he just goes for it. Like, this dancer, mad respect to him, just goes for it, and he is very cute doing it. But the look on BamBam's face, he's so amused. He thinks it's so funny.
And
like,
it's BamBam on BL moment. Like, they could write a BL from this moment.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like what BL is this? Yeah. Moving on though, we're already 30 minutes into this episode. Yes. Let's talk about one of my favorite K-pop enthusiasts in the game. That is Earth Kuhart. We call him Little Earth. I don't know what the rest of the BL community calls him because there is a big Earth. Yeah. Two of them. He loves K-pop, and my dude can dance. Yeah, there are so many videos of him dancing to Twice, and I am a once, and so I live for it every time it happens. There's also a really fun video at like an Until We Meet Again like fan meet or birthday. There's like some sort of situation where Fluke is there. Mm-hmm. I remember like I can see this video in my brain, and I wish I could remember all the details, but Fluke is there, and Earth is like trying to like lead Fluke in this K-pop dance, and like bless Earth because he is an amazing dancer, and I could not do it either. Yeah. But poor Fluke is like he just can't, like, it's like does not compute. So it's real cute. I love it. I
really love that Santa and Earth bonded over doing these TikTok dances, and a lot of them are like K-pop covers because he Little Earth and Santa did a cover of Hyuna's Troublemaker, which is really cute.
We love Hyuna.
Yes, love it.
Yeah, so super fun. Yeah, I love all of the love that gets thrown around to the K-pop because it does I feel like it makes me feel more connected to these people. I'm like, oh my God, if we met, we actually would have something to talk about.
Yeah, one of my favorite like K-pop BL crossovers is I really love the show My Oxygen, which Ayla has not seen, which is a travesty, but I really love it. And Petch, who is one of the actors, he has his own YouTube channel, and
I have to hear about Petch so much. If I should watch this drama, please comment and tell me or something. I have to hear about Petch at least once a day at a minimum.
He's so sweet because he's like the biggest fanboy, and he'll do this. He has this YouTube channel and he does these vlogs. And I think even before you got into BLs, I was like, oh my gosh, look at this Thai actor that I really love. He did a reaction video to GOT7's some Eclipse, but he also does like unboxing. He like really loves so many groups because I love AB6. He loves AB6. Like, he will do unboxing. He will do reaction videos. He is just a fun fanboy that
I mean, I believe that you
also
sent me those videos. I also believe I did not watch them, and so I
rude.
did not go through it. I don't know.
Rude.
I maybe I should watch his series and get super into his K-pop content. I already like him because one time he did a vlog where he like booked War's hair and makeup people.
Yes,
Like
because
he
people
booked
say he
Pond
looks like War.
and also his hairstylist, and he's like, and Pond is like doing his makeup, and he's like, well, because I guess somebody had told him he looks like War,
Yeah.
and which that's a high praise. First of all, like you should print that out and get that framed if you have it in writing.
Which is wild. Why you won't watch his series because people say he looks like War. I mean, I know
It's not that I
can
won't.
replace War. Like, calm
Down.
down.
It's not that I won't. It's that there are so many boys in so little time. Is the true answer, but. I love that vlog because Pond is like doing his makeup and like giving him like the inside track. He's like, yeah, when I do War's makeup, like War likes this and War likes that. And I'm like, tell me more.
Oh my gosh.
And also apparently for this like little photo shoot, you get to hear about how they like essentially share clothes. Like Pond is like, yeah, this is actually my jacket that he's wearing in this. Do you just want to like wear it? Like, he's like, do you just want to wear it? Like,
So
yeah, go ahead, put it on. The privilege.
So funny.
Anyways, yes. If I should love Petch and his K-pop content, please tell me. I think I'm jaded now. You talk about him so much.
Go follow his YouTube channel. It's really cute and really good.
Before we move on to the Korean side of the K-pop BL crossover, which there is some, definitely should mention Ten's food truck battle that featured James from Hormones, which is a very fun little interesting tidbit. If you are a Ten stan, Ten is also a Thai idol. If you don't know who Ten is, I can't imagine that you don't.
You live under a rock.
But just in case, I guess. I don't know.
Dance cover. So good. Love 10.
So let's move on to the K-pop idols the K-pop idols that go over to the BL side, right? Because this whole time we have talked about like the BL, sort of like BL actors being the driving force. Mm-hmm. There is a flip side to that, which is K-pop idols being a driving force. The first and foremost, which is a very obvious one, is our boy Hyunjin, who his stage name was Hwa while he was in The Boys, is one of the stars of Color Rush and the soon-to-be Color Rush 2. Yeah. So obviously he is an actual K-pop idol that then went on to act in a BL. And there is another one just like that in Where Your Eyes Linger. If you haven't watched Where Your Eyes Linger, oh my God, you have to. It's so cute. Yeah. Hanji Chan, who he was on Produce 101, is in Where Your Eyes Linger.
And there's a couple of other idols that show up in BLs, whether they be side characters or they sing the theme song. So Ace just recently did the theme song for Light on Me, which highly recommend Light on Me. I'm watching it right now, and the amount of times that I giggle while watching this show, it is just like cute.
I'm so excited to watch this show. I'm so excited to watch it.
It's really sweet.
I don't watch shows until they're all the way out so I can binge them. There's literally only one exception to that. I am only doing it for one show, which is The Best Story. I would never do it. I would never do it for anybody that wasn't War. So that being said, I'm super excited to watch Light on Me, and I kind of love that Ace does the OST for it, because this is a fun story. When I was in Korea before the world lockdown,
That's almost 3 years ago now.
No.
Yeah, you went in what? Fall
I went in November. Yeah. So 2 years ago. It was like my last day in Korea, and I think this has happened to most everybody who goes to Korea. I needed an extra suitcase. I bought so much stuff. And literally when I flew to Korea, I packed an empty suitcase. So I had brought myself an empty suitcase and I still needed an extra suitcase.
That is wild.
So it was like my last day in Korea. I was flying out the next morning and I had packed, but I had just like a bunch of stuff that I couldn't fit that I needed to bring back to America. And so I went to COEX, which if you're a K-pop fan, you immediately know what COEX is. There are many a fan sign at COEX. And I'm looking for a suitcase. It is obnoxiously difficult to find suitcases in Korea for some reason. I was like, oh, it's a mall. There will be suitcases. No, the only store we could find was like a Samsonite store, and I wasn't going to pay like $120 for
which is wild because
throwaway suitcase.
Any big city, touristy city in the States.
I should have gone to a night market, honestly. Yeah. Like I should have gone to like a street market, but it was like a Monday or something and it was late. And I was like, I literally at that point, I was like, I can just ride the subway to COEX, and the subway like drops you inside of COEX essentially. Anyways, we had walked around this whole mall trying to find an affordable suitcase. And all of a sudden, and we're just tired. Like we're sitting on a bench and we're just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Because at this point we had spent 10 days in Korea. And we get a text from my sister's boyfriend who was with us. And he was like, hey, you guys. And he had left to go find like some sort of obscure food thing that he remembered they had in this mall. I don't remember what he was doing. And we get a text from him and he's like, hey, I think there's an idol thing going on right now. I don't know what the group is, but it's over by this one place. He was like, I don't know. They're doing a thing. There's a bunch of fans here. Not accurately describing what's going on at all. When I tell you, I started running through this mall, dude, full speed, which is so obnoxious.
Yeah.
Full speed sprinting through this mall because I was like, idols, because my sister's boyfriend has the world's best like K-pop, K-drama, K-people luck. Literally, y'all, I am not exaggerating when I tell you that when BTS came through on part 1 of the Love Yourself tour and they stopped in Dallas, and remember Tay bought all that art, guess who was like literally right up the street in there while that was happening?
That's why.
My sister's boyfriend. He also ran into the full cast of Goblin just like in the streets of Korea once.
Stop.
Yeah, he has the world's best luck. Anyways, so I'm like full sprinting through this mall, and I get there and it's Ace is doing a fan sign, and it was so cute to watch. And I stood there and I just watched it because it's like open air, you can see it. They are so cute with their fans. The interaction was really great. Like you could tell it was just like a nice vibe. And so I have like a little soft spot in my heart for Ace because they were my like K-pop in Korea experience.
I love Ace too,
I love this like convergence.
Chan and one of the other boys were in web dramas, and I love a good web drama. Korea has some great
also
ones.
They have some bangers. Like I will say, I after that started listening to them because I was like, oh, they're cute. Like I'm gonna like might stan.
Yeah.
And they have some bangers for sure.
They're good. Okay, so to wrap this episode up, let's talk about the potential K-pop boy that we know and love that is rumored to be
rumors be flying rumors. So as of the recording of this podcast, currently it is not 100% confirmed.
When this dropped, like the rumor of it, the drama, the like chaos it caused
chaos, and that was because we both are active members of this fandom, literally card carrying active members of this fandom. If you can't guess what group it is yet,
cards in the mail as we speak.
Yanan from Pentagon is currently in China filming a drama. And the rumor is that drama is actually the adaptation of a BL. And so if you know BLs, you know that Chinese BLs are bromances because there's a lot of governmental influence in BLs, and like production will get shut down. People will get banned from acting. It's a whole thing. So this is an adaptation of a BL is what we'll call it. It's an adaptation of a novel called Reckless. And as of the recording of this episode, is not 100% confirmed. That being said, we personally, I know, have been very like on the fence about saying this is real, this is not real, because in the BL world, stuff falls through all the time, and it's just like rumors are rampant.
It's devastating.
That being
They
said,
can even like film a whole show and then it never come to air.
That being said, since this rumor sort of broke, there have been pictures from set that have leaked, like of him on set.
And Yannon was talking to Kino.
All Yannon said was that he's filming a drama. He didn't say what the drama was. He just said he's filming a drama. So he, to be fair, could be filming anything. But it's, I would say, relatively confirmed that it is the adaptation of this BL, which is so incredibly exciting. It is the wildest convergence of my interests that I never thought would happen. It blows my mind. When I saw it on the TL, literally I told you and you were like, no, it's a joke. They're joking. And I was like, no, it's not a joke. Like, that's how unbelievable it was that you were like, they're making a joke.
Like, what are the chances that we would get into BL and then the group that we ult has a boy that goes and does a BL?
It's so absolutely wild. I am.
And he's an incredible actor. Excited. And if you haven't watched Use for My Talent, do yourself a favor and go to Netflix and watch it because it's so good.
Yeah, if you want to get to know Yannon as an actor before this BL comes out, Use for My Talent is on Netflix right now. It's actually a remake of a Korean drama, but it is amazing.
Solid.
Pentagon,
they do it in a fresh way. It's nice.
Pentagon in general is a wonderful group, and everything about them is perfect.
We've only marked our body for them, so what do we have to say?
And
Pentagon.
And Yannon is he's a wonderful boy. He's very nice.
He's their Chinese member too.
He's Chinese member. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So hopefully when this episode goes up, it will be 100% confirmed. And then we'll get to do a series Sunday about a Yannon drama. Could you imagine?
Oh, so good.
It would be amazing.
It would be so good. Well, that ends this discussion for this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow all of our socials, talk to us on our socials. We love to hear from you guys. It's so fun. We've gotten some really great comments from people telling us all the things. Talk to us.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, rate, review at Let's Talk BL.